learn how to create a reusable model component. Model component is one of the most commonly used component in the Salesforce, and till now Salesforce has given us different kinds of standard components, but model is not yet available by Salesforce. So I'll show you a very clean and a better approach to create a model and the same component that you can use it in different pages in different ways. So let's go to our VS Code and see how we can build this. So I'm in the VS Code. First, we're gonna create a wrapper where we're gonna use our model component. So let's create a wrapper here. Let's go to our Lightning, create Lightning web component. Let's create a component and we'll give this name model wrapper. And as I said, in this component, we're gonna place our reusable component. So for the UI purpose, let's create quickly a card here. We'll give the title model component demo, and here inside this we're gonna create a div tag with a padding. So we'll say class SLDS padding around medium, and inside this I'm gonna create a lightning button, and I'll say variant as brand. We want the label as open because on click of this lightning button we want to open a model. Let's close the button and let's add one click handler as well. So we'll say on click, we'll call open handler, and this method we're gonna create in the JS file. Let's come here, let's create this method. Say console.log clicked, and before deploying this, let's go to our meta file and change this is exposed to true, and let's add the targets. You can add the targets based on your need. I pasted all three: app page, record page, and home page, so this component will be available for all three pages. So let's deploy this. So I'm running the command, same command, sftx force colon source colon push -f for the force. You don't need to apply this. So now this component is deployed. Let's go to our app 0 to hero. In that I'm in a reusable component lightning page. Let's go to the edit page from the gear icon, and here search for our component model wrapper. Let's place this into the center and hit save. Let's go back, and now our component is placed successfully. So let's go to the inspect and see. On click of open, are we printing something or not? So if I click on open, you can see it's printing clicked here. So it means our button click is working, our card is looking fine, our button is looking fine. Now we'll go and create the reusable component. To create that, as I said in my previous video also, like before creating something, you always think whether that design is already available in the Lightning Design System library. So let's go to that Lightning Design System library and search for the component that we want to build it. So I'm in the Lightning Design System library. I'll come to and search box and I'll say model. And here if I search, I can see the model component is available here. This is a CSS library of Salesforce that gives us the standard look and feel that Salesforce support. So here is the model. It has icon, it has everything. So we can look at different example with the taglines. We have headless, without header, with footless. Then we have directional, like if it different direction you want to paste, and all sort of things are available. So let's copy any of them. I'm copying the directional one. You can copy the small model as well, so it's up to you. I can copy the small model, then I'll copy the small model. I'll click on show code. I'll copy this code and let's go to our VS Code, and here we'll create a component, new component I'm creating, and I'm calling it as model. So now this is our reusable model component, and whatever we have copied from the Lightning design system, just paste in the HTML, and now we have our model available here. So now let's look at this code that we have copy pasted here. It has a header, it has a body, and it has a footer. So these are the three clear separation we have here. So first thing what we can do is, it's using a SVG tag and we don't have this thing available, so we have a lightning icon available, so we're going to use that lightning icon here. So we'll remove whatever it was there inside the button, and we'll say inside the button there should be a lightning icon, and the lightning icon name should be utility close. That gives a close icon, and we can have variant as inverse. That will change our icon color to white, and we can give alternative text as close, and give title as well for accessibility point of view, close, and we'll close our lightning icon here. So our icon is placed successfully. Let's keep the rest of the content as it is, and let's go to our wrapper model, that is our main component. And what we're gonna do is, we'll call that component here, we'll say C hyphen model. So we are calling our reusable component here in our main component, and in the JS file of the main component we'll create a property is open, and we initialize that property as false. And in the HTML we're gonna use template if true directive, and we'll say whenever is open is true, then load this component. Okay, and to make this property true, we need to call this open handler, and inside this we'll say this dot open is open equal to true. So let's deploy this and see whether our component is working fine or not. Till now we have just pasted the code as it is, and we just replace the icon, SVG icon, with the lightning icon, and this is the icon given by the standard Salesforce library, so we are using the same. So now it's deployed. Let's go back to our app and refresh the page. Now let's click on the open, and as I click on the open, you can see the model is coming perfectly fine. It has two buttons, it has a body, it has a title. So what I want is everything should be reusable. I should able to configure the header, I should able to configure the body, I should able to configure the footer as well. Let's go and see how we can achieve this. Right now nothing is working if I click anywhere, because we haven't placed anything in the code. Let's go back to our model component, and here let's make our header first reusable. We'll say we'll create a slot. We already know how slot works now. We'll say whenever somebody pass the slot with the name title, it will come here, and we'll place our slot inside the H2. Then let's remove everything that is available inside our SLDS model content class. Here we'll use another slot, and this will be a unnamed slot. Whatever you pass, it will come here. And then let's go to the footer, and we'll remove everything from here, and let's create a footer slot as well. And let's go to the HTML. Let's pass content to the slot. So I'll say here, to pass something to the slot, I'll say first title, I'll say not equal to title, and you can pass the content that we were showing here as it is. We'll pass model header content, then I'll create another one. I'll create footer, and here I'll say footer comes here, and then we'll create a normal p tag, and we'll just copy paste some of the data from here. And when you pass something without any slot, it will go to the body tag. Let's deploy this and see whether our model is rendering as we are expecting. And now it's deployed. Let's go and refresh the page. Let's click on open. Now you see it's rendering perfectly fine. And footer comes here, the body comes here, header comes here. And one thing I personally feel, we should not wrap any div inside the h2. So what we can do is we can directly create a slot outside and let the user to pass some data like this. We'll convert, or we can do and create h2 to a div. That's a better approach. And when the user pass the data from the outer, it should be in the h2 form. That's a better approach. Apart from these, let's pass the button as well to the footer instead of the text, because mostly we'll pass the button. And as we convert our footer to the slot, so we have the freedom from our main wrapper class or wrapper component to align our button whichever way we want. So I just placed the same button that we were using inside the model. So the button class SLDS button, SLDS button neutral with the cancel and the save. And what I want is on click of this cancel, my model should get closed. So I can create a class here, close handler. Create a method here, and I'll just say this dot open to false. So whenever call this handler, it will close our model, and I'll assign this model to cancel. Assign this model, so whenever we click on the cancel, it will close our model. So let's deploy this and see our button is working or not. So now it's deployed. Let's refresh the page and see the buttons are coming or not. Let's click on the, now the buttons are coming perfectly fine, and on click of this cancel, I want to close the model. That's working also fine. And now on click of this icon, I want to close the model. And to do that, go back to our reusable component, that is model.js. And here what we want to do is we have to write a event that will call our parent and close the model. And to achieve that, what we're going to do, first we want a click action on our icon. On click model, I create a method here in the model.js. I'll go and create this method. Whenever you click on that icon, it will create a new event. Create a new custom event, and we'll call this event name as close. I'll write a variable, will say event some event equal to. Just remember, there is a difference between capital custom with the new keyword. It's creating a new event. I'm just storing in a variable, so you can use any name, or you can dispatch it directly as well. I'm using a custom event as a variable name, and I'm gonna call this dot dispatch event, and I'll pass that event that I have created. We can use the shorthand notation as well. That's also fine. So you just create the event. Event name is close, and it will dispatch. Now in our wrapper, we have to listen to this event. So here I'll come back to my component tag where I'll say on close. So on should always append with a custom event name whenever you are using it inside the HTML. So our event name is close. So I'm saying on close call something, and as we are clicking the close icon, so it should work as it is the way we are working on the cancel button. So I'll add the close handler here itself. So whenever you click on the close icon, on close gets called up and the close handler will triggered, and in the close handler this dot is open gets false and our model gets closed. Let's deploy and see whether this is working fine or not. So it's deployed now. Let's refresh the page and quickly see whether this click on this close icon whether our model is getting closed or not. I'll open it, I'll click on this icon and now it's closing. It means our event dispatching is working fine, and now we have on click of cancel, on click of this close icon, our model is getting closed. So now we have seen how we can configure our header, we can configure our body, how we can configure our footer. Now sometimes we don't need a footer. So let's go and see how we can handle that scenario. If I go to the model wrapper and I comment our footer code for the slot of footer and deploy it, let's see how our model looks like. Deployed now, let's see how our footer looks. So if I click on open, now you see the footer is not showing anything, but extra space is coming here. We don't need this, right? To tackle this scenario, what we're going to do is we'll go back to our component, that is model.html, that is the main component, and we'll say always hide the footer. Okay, only show whenever somebody pass something, then only show the footer. And to handle this scenario, what we're going to do, we're going to use handle slot change. So there is a method called on slot change, and this is a slot method basically. So that this method you can call only on the slot tag, and this method, make sure this method gets called only if there is some change in the slot. So we'll call this handle slot, or we can say handle slot footer change, because there can be many slots. So let's give the name more precise. So this method gets called and we'll create here, and inside this what we're going to do is we'll first fetch the reference of our footer. I'll say this dot template dot query selector. I'll say dot SLDS hyphen card, or we can copy the class name from here directly. We'll say go and find this class in the DOM and give us the reference. So we'll say const element equal to, and we'll say if footer element is available, then go to footer element dot class list dot remove and remove the hide class that we have append here. So what we are doing is by default hide the footer. Whenever somebody pass something to the footer, then remove this hide class and show the footer. So let's deploy this and see how it looks. Deployed. Let's go and refresh the page. And now if I click on open, you can see the footer is not at all there, no extra padding, nothing is there. And if I go back and bring it back to our component, it will show immediately perfectly fine. Now it's deployed. Let's go again. Now the footer should come back, and now the footer is coming perfectly fine. And these buttons, anyhow we are controlling it from the outer component, so we don't need to worry about it, because here you can add as many handler or as many way you want to handle it. The only thing you need to call is open true or false to show and hide the model. Rest is your content that you're passing to the title, and you can configure the title, you can play with the body, you can play with the footer. One last thing that I want to play inside this code is, let's see if we'll not pass the header, how it works. So our component is working fine with the footer. If we pass the footer, it will show the footer, otherwise it will not show the footer. So let's hide the title slot this time. Let's deploy this and see if our header is coming or not. Now I'm refreshing the page, and on click of this open button, now you see the model is opening, but the header we didn't pass, but the space is coming. So we have to handle this scenario as well. And to handle this, basically this is a padding and a border. What we can do is we can go to our component, that is the reusable component, and create a class model.css. They remove headers, and I'll say padding 0 pixel, and I'll say border 0 pixel. So I'm creating a class, and that class will only apply when there is no content passed to the header. What we can do is we'll come to the HTML and we'll see, okay, we have to again data on slot change. This time we'll give this name handle slot change header. And to the header class, I'm gonna place this remove handler, and whenever this method gets called up, we'll call the same code again, but this time this is the header element. If header element is there, just go to the class list and remove this. And from where we have to remove it from, we need this reference of this class. We'll say first go and find the element with this class, and if this class is available, then go and remove the class that we have append here. That class name is remove header. So let's deploy this. So now it's deployed. Let's go and refresh the page. Let's click on open. Now you can see that our model is coming without header, and we already seen without footer. We already seen, because model without body doesn't make any sense. So the body will always come. So we are not handling this scenario, but if you have a use case, you can handle in the same way. And on click of cancel, it's working fine. Close, it's working fine. And on click of save, you can add your functionality very easily, because our model wrapper is controlled by the user only. So everything, all every control we have given to the user, we are just giving the layout, and the layout has to fill within the slot by the user. So let me uncomment this as well. Let's deploy this and see the final thing. So that's how you build the reusable model component. And if you want to see how we can reuse it, let me create another card here, or I can create another quickly a button. I'll say open second. I'll create open second handler here, and I'll go the JS. I'll create another method open second. Here I'll create a property is open second false, and inside this, whenever you click the second button, this open second should be true, and close handler, we can say second close handler. Here we can say is open to. Anyhow, we generally not open two models at a time. It always be one model, but I am creating multiple handlers here. So I'll say second close handler, and I'll go to the HTML and copy this model again and paste it below. And I'll change the headings, second model header, and I'll tag and say hello everyone, second model. And in the footer, you can keep it as it is, the footer right now. And we already create a second close handler. Place second close handler here. On click of close icon it should call, and of cancel it should call. And let's deploy and see our model works fine or not. So now we are using the same code or same component twice within the same code. Let's see our reusability works here or not. So now it's deployed. Let's go and refresh the page. Now we have two models. This is our first model. So both models are open together. It's a mistake here. Let's quickly go and fix that out. And the mistake is to the second model as well. We have added the is open, so it should be is open second. So let's deploy this quickly. And now if we go back and refresh it again, open, so it's opening the first model. If I click cancel, it's closing. Now if I click on the second model header, heading is coming, body is coming, buttons are coming, close, it's working fine. Likewise, you can create as many variation with header, without header, with footer, without footer, and so on. So that's the basic approach to create a reusable component. And that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next video.